Hello, if you are struggling with your Spring Reactor logs, then this session is for you. At the end of the session, you will be able to figure out the ways how to get the better logs. And to begin with, I will show you few of the basic stuff first. So let's say there is a main method. It calls method A, and then method A calls method B. So this is the stack, right? Main, and then method A is called, B called, and then this calls method C. It is possible that method B is called by method X and method X is called by method Z. And when there is a null pointer exception here in the method C, you will be able to see the logs and figure out that this method C is executed because of invocation from main method or from method Z, right? How? With the help of the stack trace. I will show you one example stack trace. This stack is able to tell me that there is an exception inside method C at this line, and method C is invoked by method B, and method B is invoked by A, and then when. So I can debug better and figure out what happened in the production or in logs in my testing or development, right? A better stack trace always help to go down from where the problem has started, right? Now, when you are using Spring Reactors, one thing changes. These methods, they might be like asynchronous block of processing. So when we say asynchronous, so main invokes method A, and this is an asynchronous invocation. So it loses track of this, right? This relationship is lost, and this relationship is lost, and this way all these relationships are lost. Possibly not everything will be lost, but yes, there is a possibility in asynchronous block. And in Spring Reactor, this method might be picked up by another thread or the same thread, but it's a different unit of execution, right? So order might change or anything might change, but yes, a gap has come between this invocation. And when an exception occurs, there is a possibility that you are able to see this exception in method C, but you are really not able to track back from where this started, right? So this is the main challenge in the Spring Boot Reactor logs, okay? And there are certain ways to handle it. Now let me show you a code and the problem in it. This is a simple Spring Boot application, and inside this is main, right? And here this is a process request method with an application ready event. So whenever this application starts, this method will be executed. And what happens? So there are a lot of loggers which explain what's happening. These loggers will print the logs of the thread, name of the thread, and then here these are the three objects or strings, and they needs to be processed, right? So here you see do on subscribe just to add more loggers, and do on next again to put some extra loggers here, and there is a flat map, and inside this method A is invoked, okay, here, and the same repetitive stuff. Again method B is invoked, and again if you go here, method C is invoked, okay, so this is method B. Here method C is invoked, inside C method D, and that's how it goes till method E. And what is happening inside method E? Here we are intentionally throwing an exception. Where? Here. simulated error in method E for D, right? So there is a condition. It is put it in a way that it actually fails. It actually passes, and it goes inside this, an exception is thrown, right? So I will run this program and see the stack trace, that how it looks like. Let me start this application. Okay, so as soon as application starts, program is executed, and these are the logs here. Okay, so it says simulated error in method E, and then a big stack trace. Now let me copy paste it in a better, cleaner editor for better understanding. So logs are pasted here. If you go down, it says simulated error in method E. If you read the logs further, here these are the reactor logs. Here it says again that problem is in the method E at line number 22. If you go down again, it's the whole reactor logs, right? And then Spring Framework context logs, and then that's it. You don't know what happened, right? So here there are references of method E, but see, method E is invoked by method D. So is it, can we see method D in the logs? Okay, let me do a search here in the logs. Method D is here. Okay, and that's it. So it's not here in the exception stack trace, right? Method E is here, but method D is not present in the stack trace, and same way it goes till the process request method. Okay, so now what to do, how to understand? One possible way is, we will go back to the code. So here in every method we can put some errors. I have already written it to save the time. Inside process request, on error I have a logger now inside A, and same way inside all the methods. Okay, now let's execute the program again. Okay, this time copy the logs and go to the editor. If you see, this is the error. Let's try to see where all we can find the references. Okay, so it says error occurred, and it talks about method E here, and again it talks about method E, right? Here if you see, it must be, let's find the R classes so that we can be, let's do a search for this. Okay, so here it is. Next line says that, okay, main invoked, okay, application when it was main and then ready. Okay, error on restart main, that is the thread name. So basically the point is, even if you add a lot of loggers, it's not always easy to figure out where and what went wrong, right? So now what is the solution. Okay, so there are certain solutions which are provided by Spring itself. Hooks, it comes from reactor on operator debug. You just add this line and then re-execute the program and see what happens. Okay, let's copy the logs. Okay, and if I do the same logger search, okay, so it's better now. At least I can see method inside method E itself. I can see, okay, 145 called by 153, and if I go down, I'm able to find method D in the stack. Okay, that's better. And here we can see method C, and same way let's try to go towards the bottom. Here you can see process request, this invokes method A, and then B, C, D, E. Okay, so you can see a stack here. So should we use it or not? Okay, so Spring says that this can be good for the development time debugging, but this is not production ready. But there is one library which we can use for the production also. It is not recommended to run your logs and debug in production, but if needed, you can use it. It do not have that much performance impact. I googled and few people have put their experiences, and they are saying that it's not impacting the performance in production. So that's a good sign. And even if Spring says that it's a production ready tool, I can show you the logs, not logs, but a page where they have mentioned. Here, if you see, they are saying reactor debug agent, production ready assembly backtracking. So what is assembly backtracking? So when you see the complete reactor chain, that is the assembly, right? And something if happens wrong on the assembly, you want to track back, right? So that's what we are doing. Tracking back, right? So if I go back here, so when something goes wrong here, we were not able to track back till here, but after putting this library, this piece of line in the code, we are able to do it. But let's see another library which is production ready, and we can use it. Reactor debug agent dot init. Okay, so I have commented out hooks on operator debug, and now let's try to restart the application and see if I can find the stack, a better stack. Okay, now let's search. Okay, let's try to find method D, and let's go at the end and see if it's in the stack. Okay, so I can see it in the stack, and that will be really helpful. What we can do, we should copy it and compare it in parallel to the file or to the log file which is generated without the reactor debug agent or hooks on operator debug. Let's go here. This is with debug, and we will find the logs without debug and copy paste there. Okay. This is without. Now let's go click on compare. Okay, it's comparing. Okay, if I go down in the logs, these are the logs with debug, right? Here I can see more details about method E, Let's go down a bit more. Okay, here when you add the debugging agent, it gives you method DE. So basically this is a more human readable, more easily you can figure out what's happening. Let's go towards the end, and inside towards the end it is putting a lot of stuff, right? So this is the last difference. Here you can see the complete stack: process request, method A, method B, method C, and method D. Okay, one interesting thing I want to show you, that right now there are error logs. What if we remove these logs? Not logs, basically. Yeah, these are logs. Let's comment these out and see what happens. Will we get the complete stack now or not? Let's restart the application. And let's start from the bottom here itself. Okay, reactor agent is not added. Let's add back the reactor debug agent and let's start the application. Yeah, so you can see even the complete stack trace. So all these methods, they do not have error log, but still I am able to figure out what went wrong. What I am thinking, or what is my proposal to you guys, is that put it in the debug check, something like if is debug enabled, and then put it here, even if you want to put it in production. And it will be a good thing if you do a test and then put it here, and maybe you can put an additional check that okay, when there is crisis, there is no other option, only then you need to activate it in production. So you can have some variable here, any property, which you can change when very much needed. Okay, and you can do a quick test. A lot of people on internet, they are saying they are using it in production and it's not creating any problems to them, right? So in the next session, maybe I'll talk about what are the type of operators, or how you can have a better chaining of those reactor methods. So stay tuned. Happy learning and happy reading the logs.